Hello YouTubers, and welcome to another episode of The Golf Nerd. I often see golfers on social media not understanding the basics of ball flight. This is a skill like any other that can make you not only a smarter golfer, but a better golfer. Having this knowledge will help you on the course diagnose what is going on in real time and allow you to make necessary adjustments. This can help you to save a round or score your new personal best. So in today's video, I'll be reviewing flight laws and discussing which of these patterns are most desirable and why. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below as I respond to every comment I receive. Now, let's dive into the nerdy world of ball flights. So when we consider ball flight laws, we need to understand that all ball flights are the results of two swing parameters, namely face angle and swing path direction. For face angles, you can have an open face, a square face, or a closed face at impact. In terms of swing path, you can have an in-to-out swing path, a neutral or square swing path, or an out-to-in swing path. The out-to-in path is often referred to as over the top. It's the combination of these two parameters that determine the ball flight of every shot. Before we get to the ball flights, let me share one point that I've heard some very smart people make as it relates to start direction. Approximately 85% of the start direction of any shot is determined by the club face orientation. So for a right-handed golfer, an open face will start to the right of the swing path. A closed face will start to the left of the swing path, and a square face will start on line with that same swing path. This can be extremely helpful when diagnosing your ball flight, so try to remember that the start line of your shot is almost entirely the result of where the face is pointing at the moment of impact. So understanding this last point, let's first focus on an out-to-in or over-the-top swing path that many beginners often demonstrate. Any swing path must be described in terms of the swing plane. Generally speaking, the plane is defined as the line between the ball and your elbows at setup. An out-to-in or over-the-top swing path will take the club over the top of this plane on its way to making its impact. If we consider the target line as our point of reference for the bottom of the plane, the club head will start on the opposite side of the target line and finish on the golfer's side of the target line. Essentially, the club head is being swung to the left of the target line for a right-handed golfer. If this is the case and the club face is open to this path, the ball is going to start along the line the face is pointing at impact and curve back to the right. The reason this rightward spin is created is due to the fact that this combination of out to in with an open face puts a clockwise side spin on the ball. The side spin changes the angular momentum of the ball, tilts the spin axis to the right, and causes the ball to spin off to the right. One interesting thing to note is how backspin affects this issue. Shots with higher backspin are less sensitive to the same amount of side spin, so the backspin produces a specific angular momentum, and the higher the backspin, the higher the momentum is. Given this, the same amount of side spin can move a shot with less backspin much more than a ball with very high backspin. To put this in perspective, how many times have you completely sliced a pitching wedge? Now, how many times have you sliced a driver? The difference in backspin between these two clubs could be as much as 8,000 RPMs, which is a large contributor to why the ball flight of a driver is so much more susceptible to side spin. This is also one of the reasons why you don't want to go too low with backspin on a driver fitting. Sub 2,000 RPM for a driver can produce a very unstable ball flight given how easily side spin can cause the ball to veer offline. Now let's discuss how a face square to the path affects an out-to-in swing path. Every time that a club face is square to its path, you can expect a straight flight with little to no curvature of the ball. So an out-to-in path with a square face is going to result in a straight pull left. I've spoken with golfers who are adamant that they don't swing over the top, but are hitting straight pulls. It's important to note that the swing is an inclined arc, meaning that if you're swinging along a very neutral path, after the low point, the club face will begin swinging from out to in. So in the case where a golfer is not swinging over the top, but is making contact after the club's low point, this could also result in a straight pull because the club head is now traveling to the left, and if the face is square to the path at the moment of impact, it's going to result in the same straight pull. Our final consideration is an out-to-in path with a closed club face. This ball is going to have a leftward side spin placed on the ball. Because the face is pointing left of the swing path, the ball is going to start left of the swing path. If it starts left of the swing path and has a leftward spin, this is going to result in a pull hook, or most commonly called a duck hook. Given the shut face, the ball will not elevate much at all and will result in a very leftward shot with little distance and brings out of bounds and hazards strongly into play. Now let's move on to a square or neutral swing path. This swing path is going to very much follow the target line. Our swing plane will bottom out on the target line and will be parallel to the target line. This is a very desirable swing path, as small variations in club face will result in very playable shots on the course. Now obviously, if your face is wide open or very shut, this swing path doesn't help much, but I do want to note that this is a great swing path to have. So if the face is open relative to a neutral swing path, the ball will start right and curve right. Generally, this will be a high, spinnier shot and will land without much run out. If the face is square to this neutral path, you have reached Shangri-La. It's a dead straight shot with good height, good backspin, and good distance. In fact, this combination results in the most possible distance as a result of the most energy transfer, or rather, the highest smash factor. If the club face is close to this neutral path, the ball will start left and curve left. Finally, let's discuss an in-to-out swing path. Just like the closed face on an out-to-in swing path, an open face on an in-to-out swing path is the most punishing. An open face will start right, and because of the rightward side spin, it will curve right. This is the worst of slices. Given the open face, the ball will go very high, the backspin will increase, and you will lose distance. It also brings out of bounds and hazards into play. A square face relative to an in-to-out path will produce a straight push. So the ball will start along the swing path given the square face, and the flight will show little to no curvature. And last but not least, a closed face relative to an in-to-out swing path will result in a ball that starts right and curves back to the left. Done correctly, this is the push draw that many golfers play and/or aspire to. Given the closed face, this ball flight will be slightly lower with slightly lower spin and will gain distance on a pull fade given the difference in backspin between these two shots. So the three most desirable shots in golf are a pull fade, a straight shot, and a push draw. Any of these ball flights can produce great results if you play them as your stock shot and can hit them with a high level of predictability. Just know that from an efficiency standpoint, the straight shot is the most efficient, followed by the push draw. The most punishing combinations are the pull hook and push slice. Given the ball starts to one side and curves further away from your intended target in both of these cases, this is what all golfers are trying to avoid. If you truly understand these ball flights and can critically watch your ball fly after a shot, you can start to better troubleshoot what is happening in your swing. If you find yourself hitting duck hooks, then you either need to swing more in to out or open the face at impact. If you're hitting push slices, you need more out to in or a more closed club face. Simply put, understanding the ball flight helps you identify what needs fixed and can help to highlight what parts of your swing you should address. It's why a good instructor starts a lesson asking, "What is your miss?" because it's a clue to your tendencies. For those that stuck around, thank you, as I know this stuff is pretty dry, but it goes a long way to becoming the best golfer you can be. Now, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. That's it from the Golf Nerd. Hit 'em long and straight, and I'll see you next time.